Hello, my juicy peaches. Welcome back to my channel. It is your Priestess Peaches here, supporting you to live your juiciest life and co-create a heavenly world. I want to speak directly to you if you have ever felt a little bit out of place in the world of Tantra and sacred sexuality. If you are an introvert, if you're a highly sensitive person, or if you are someone who is in a committed monogamous relationship, you might have looked at what is out there in the world of Tantra, which is effectively just Neo-Tantra most of the time, in the Neo-Tantra space, and you might have thought, is this really for me? I don't think I can take part in this. This is a little bit scary. Maybe you have thought to yourself, I am not that kind of person and this doesn't really suit me. That there's aspects about it that you like the sound of, but you just feel a little bit too nervous or scared to get involved. I just want to say you're not alone, and I just want to reassure you and let you know that Tantra can still be for you. If you are introverted, if you're highly sensitive, if you are in a monogamous, committed relationship, Tantra can very much still be for you. There's this growing narrative in modern Tantra, especially in the West, that being polyamorous or being sexually open or just constantly immersed in sexual exploration and sexual practice with multiple partners is considered like more enlightened, more advanced, more spiritual. There's this kind of superiority thing going on. And it kind of implies that group sex and cuddle puddles and play parties and multi-partner relating are somehow the pinnacle of tantric evolution and spirituality and spiritual growth. And honestly, that is not the full story. That is not the full story at all. The truth is, I have seen firsthand how many neo-tantric spaces can kind of carry an unspoken pressure to be physically open and available, to hug and cuddle and eye gaze with strangers, and to be immediately touchable, right? And for people like me, or you, if you're watching this, for introverts, for highly sensitive people, or simply those who value privacy or energetic sovereignty, for those of us who are very in tune with energies, that can feel incredibly overwhelming and almost invasive. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you if you don't enjoy that kind of thing. It doesn't mean that you're not spiritually advanced or sexually advanced. It doesn't mean that you are less than. And I just want to say that healing unresolved sexual trauma or trauma doesn't automatically mean that you are going to be open sexually and polyamorous or available to be touched. Actually, healing your sexual trauma can sometimes lead to you understanding what your boundaries are, what your standards are, and who you are as a person. And actually, it can be sometimes that people who are excessively receptive are the ones that need to do the inner work around their trauma, because there is such a thing as being excessively receptive. It's so complex and there are so many variables, and I'm not saying this to judge anybody. Consent isn't just about saying yes or no in the moment. It's about energetic readiness. It's about being asked. It's about being asked permission, and it's about being attuned to and attuning to others. And Tantra is meant to heighten your sensitivity and not bulldoze over it or through it. I personally feel so much more with less stimulation. I am a very energetic, erotic blueprint type. And so I feel a lot energetically. I don't need 10 people touching me or to be in a sensual ceremony with lots of other people to drop into my body. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't necessarily enjoy that. I'm just saying that sometimes I might not want that, and that's okay too. In fact, too much external stimulation can actually disconnect me from my truth. It can disconnect me from the slowest parts of me. And I think it's important to always go as fast as the slowest parts of you, right? And it doesn't mean that I'm a prude. And if you're like me, it doesn't mean that you're a prude either, okay? It doesn't mean that I have more healing to do. It simply means I perceive and I process intimacy in my way, as we all do. And while sexual openness and polyamory and multiple sexual partners and group sensual practices can be absolutely beautiful and divine and deep and healing when it is done with consciousness, awareness, with love and embodiment, it's not the same as sexual liberation. Whether you do or don't do those things doesn't constitute whether you are sexually liberated or not. Sometimes being overly sexual is just another trauma response, right? Just like sexual repression can be. Sexual empowerment is personal. And it's personal to you in each moment. And you get to choose. It's not performative. It's like a fingerprint. It is unique to you and it looks different for everybody. And it probably shifts and changes and evolves throughout your life. Traditional Tantra is an ancient spiritual science that spans many paths and many traditions, starting with Hinduism and Buddhism and even the Jain traditions. And it's not just about sex. It's about awakening. It's about presence. It's about seeing the divine in all things. And there are multiple paths of Tantra. There's the right-hand path of Tantra. It's symbolic and inwards. It's focused on your breath, on mantra, on purity and meditative practices. And then there's the left-hand path, which incorporates the taboo or transgressive rituals, sometimes including sex and alcohol and other forbidden practices, as a way to break social conditioning and also to integrate our shadow aspects so they don't become perverted. And I've said in many of my videos, I don't actually agree with eating animals as part of that taboo thing. I get the sentiment of all of it, but I feel like eating an animal creates a victim, and that is doing harm, whereas engaging in orgies or alcohol or other kind of taboo practices is done with consent through consenting adults, and animals don't have a voice and they don't want to be killed, and so I don't agree with including those, but that's just my personal opinion. And then there's the red Tantra, which is more like modern neo-Tantra, that emphasizes sacred sexuality, healing sexual shame, and erotic and sensual liberation, and connection with the divine through your body. And this is where you'll find a lot of the play parties and the sensual group workshops. And many people find medicine and healing in that. And I am not here judging it. I completely understand. And I believe it is a beautiful way of healing and a tool for people. And I honor that. But that doesn't make it the only valid way or the right way for everybody. Everybody's different. And I feel like it is sad that Tantra has been split into these like rigid boxes, just like we do with politics. It's just human nature to put everything in a box and label it. And we do this with politics, with religion and everything else. And personally, I believe in taking what resonates from all different sides, what's beneficial for you from all the different sides, what's beneficial for others, for the planet, for the animals, from all the different approaches, and like coming to your own truth with it, you know? I don't believe in one approach is more spiritual or right than the other. And it depends from person to person, and it depends on the context. It depends on the time in their life. It depends on where they are in their journey, what feels best to them, what feels true for them, what feels right for them, what feels beneficial for them. And I believe that it's all about having self-awareness and gifting yourself time and grace to be able to really listen to yourself and not override your boundaries just to appear to be more spiritual. So let's bust another myth while we're here. Monogamy is not less tantric. Monogamy is not less spiritual. It's not less advanced. It is not inferior to polyamory. In fact, when practiced consciously, conscious monogamy, with a committed partnership, that committed partnership can become a powerful container for deep transformation, deep sacred sexuality. And that level of trust and safety and emotional depth and devotion that you have with a long-term monogamous partner is the perfect ground for profound tantric union. So these practices might include eye gazing, breath work, sacred touch rituals, energetic sex without penetration, chakra alignment and connection, and raising and sublimating sexual energy and pleasure through the spine to experience more full body orgasmic states. It's also about non-ejaculation and not orgasming, and intimacy and pleasure beyond the orgasm. And really, in long-term relationships, you can go really deep and wide within that. And it's just a different kind of depth and a different kind of expansion than what you would experience from having multiple partners and multiple loves in your life. You can really build a temple together. So if you're someone who values inner space and stillness and peace and emotional depth and subtlety, and if you're a highly sensitive person and you are introverted, you're probably already living the tantric way without even realizing it. Tantra isn't about how loud your breath is or how many lovers that you've had. It's about your presence. It's about your attunement. It's about your capacity to feel and stay with sensation and stay with your lover and your love. It's also about experiencing the divine, the energy of creation within your body and with each other in union. And as a highly sensitive person, you don't even need a partner to practice Tantra, okay? Or to be tantric. As a highly sensitive person, I access Tantra through stillness, through nature, through solo sensuality, as well as partner practice, through devotion to life itself, through energetic connection over physical performance. You don't need to be at a sex temple to be a tantrika. You can be in your garden, you can be in nature, you can be in the bath, you can be just sitting in stillness and connected to the divine. So, if you've ever felt like you don't belong in the Tantra spaces, please know that you do. You don't have to be polyamorous. You don't have to be sexually or even sensually open in a group space to be tantric. Sacred sexuality is about presence. It's about sovereignty. It's about love and inner union. Tantra belongs to all of us, not just the loudest people in the room, not just the extroverts, not just the polyamorous, not just the open relationships. It belongs to all of us. So let me know in the comments if this resonates. Let me know where you are on your journey or if this has helped you in some way. I would love to hear from you. So please do comment. This is a safe space and I'm really wanting to create a safe community here. So be kind and compassionate and caring in the comments if you do decide to comment. And let me know if you've ever felt excluded from the tantric spaces or if you've ever notice that there can be a kind of superiority or hierarchy within Tantra and a pressure to be open and polyamorous. Let me know if you've experienced that. Please do feel free to subscribe to become part of this juicy community. And I'm going to love you and leave you now. I'm wishing you an amazing day and remember to keep it juicy. Bye.